you stub your toes.
What's up, weirdos? Welcome to Fun and Bummer, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the just fine. My name is Carson.
And my name's Theron, and I got a dead grandma, a dying grandma, and I've had the flu all since last time I was here. I'm glad to be back.
Well, we're glad to have you back, regardless of any reasons that you were not able to make it the past couple of times. We are glad that you're here now.
Yeah, and we're here to talk about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, who's literally me.
Yeah, you're the neighbor. Hey there,
I'm literally
neighbor.
Spider-Man.
You want a neighbor like him?
Okay, so why don't you start us off? Because you're the Spider-Man loser.
Thanks, man. So yeah, we've already talked about the first two episodes in a separate episode, but we are covering episodes 3 through 10. Yeah, I'm very excited because this is the most hype I have been for a superhero thing in general, let alone a Marvel thing, in a long while.
And it was, it's just like the best thing that Marvel has put out in many years.
It's kind of insane how this and X-Men 97 are easily two of the best new things that they have put out in years.
And they're both PG, and they both are horrifying for children.
You know, I I remember so I had started watching this before Theron did. And I remember he had asked me that he was like, "Oh, will I like be good to watch it with my kids?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure."
Oh,
After
yeah.
watching the first two episodes, I was like, "Oh yeah. Like this is
Your
definitively a
kids are
great."
gonna love it.
And I even said in our review of the first two episodes, I was like, "This is a great one for kids." And then it got to oh gosh, which one was that?
It was whenever Big Donovan was introduced.
There was one episode in particular. Yeah, it was Scorpion Rising, episode 7. Whenever there reached a point in the show where I very quickly was like, so Theron, maybe don't watch this episode with your kids.
I did watch it with my kids, and they were scared. He was like, my oldest was like, "Can we turn this off? I'm scared."
I can't blame him. My fiance was taking a bath and she heard me multiple times from the bathroom, just like, "Oh my god!" And she came in and she was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like, "The Spider-Man cartoon." She was like, "The kids show?" And I was like,
Yeah, it
debatable
says
now."
it says it's TV PG, but there's after Big Donovan is introduced, there's literally an ass and damn every 5 minutes.
They we've talked previously off mic about how much they used to really be able to get away with a like PG rating on kid stuff, and it feels like they had chilled out on that more recently.
Yeah, not this one.
Not this one. They were like, no, we can actually get away with a lot on
We
a
can
PG
say
rating.
ass and damn as many times as we want.
Oh, but before we dive too much into it, non-spoilers, what did you think of it?
Somehow, I don't know if it just got less ugly as it went on, or if I just got super used to it, but the animation started rocking pretty good. I mean, I think I just got used to it, but it was definitely they put the budget where it mattered, and that's what's important.
I definitely also made note of the fact that the animation seemed to I also don't know if I just got Stockholmed into enjoying the animation as it went, but I think it, at least to some degree, definitely got better as the show went on. Yeah, no,
Yeah, I'm
to
really looking forward to 2 more seasons.
I remember we talked about it with the first 2 episodes, but I genuinely, if this is what we have to expect after having no expectations going into it, if this is what we can expect from 2 more seasons, then I'm pretty
I'm
all
balls
in
deep,
on it.
bro.
I'm
Yeah.
quite ready.
I would say my
Non-spoilers.
last spoiler-free thought. Uh, Maybe skip episode 8 with your kids. Uh, if you're watching it with them, and I guess if you're okay with them hearing ass and damn every 5 minutes, go ahead. But definitely skip episode 8, even if you are okay with that.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I still want my kids to see it all the way through, but I will wait a little bit before showing them some of it. It is not necessarily super graphic, but it is graphic enough that I'm gonna wait a bit before my little ones see it. Or at least all the way through. They're going to see up to a point, and then we're just gonna skip a little bit and then keep
Yeah,
going, and it'll be a great
just
time.
a few minutes. Just a few minutes. Like
Just a few
10.
minutes. Um, but yeah, no, spoilers on my thoughts on it. I absolutely loved it. And I definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend it to pretty much anybody if you're into the superhero stuff, if you like animation, if you're looking for just something fun to have on, even just in the background. Yeah. Yeah. Any other final not non-spoiler thoughts before we hit the spoiler warning?
Um, no, I think we're good to jump right into it.
So to get into spoilers, uh
Spoiler
to start
alert.
to start with the negatives, I'll get this
Oh yeah,
one I'll get this one out of the way. New York is still pretty empty in the show.
yeah, and the static
The
background.
animation is still it's a lot better as the show goes on, but that was still something that I couldn't help but notice is that they're just when we are in the city, there's just not that many people. And it was kind of noticeable. Lots of cars. Plenty of cars driving around, but not a whole lot of people just out and about,
Yeah,
specifically
like
in that
when like
uh
like when
the
Nico was
gang
drag
fight.
racing.
Oh my
What's that?
god.
Yeah,
The drag race that the random redhead started.
yeah,
That
and
was
then
a that was a choice. But yeah.
yeah, no, she should have definitely like collided with someone and killed a family of 4 going that fast down a busy street like that. I'm just saying. But well, maybe not should have, but that's what would happen in real life. Uh,
Odds were not in favor of everybody making it out of that situation in one piece.
that's right. Come aboard. Okay. Sorry. So my big negative,
Mhm.
uh, Nico. I she is
I had some kind of
such
feeling.
such a bad friend. It's insane. She is so selfish. She's like, Peter, Peter. I don't know why I said that like Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, Peter.
Peter. But she's just so
Right.
selfish and like, Peter, you're being a bad friend to me. I know you got this, you know, almost dying every day thing going on, but I have
Right.
needs as a friend too.
But like, why didn't you tell me about it?
That was the fact that everyone just knows. It is so like that's like an air of realism to it almost because you would not be able to hide something like that from every.
No, not teenagers.
It's just like a domino effect, and everyone starts finding out. And, and Harry was like, "Oh, I thought she knew," but when he tells
I
her,
absolutely
he's like, "Did you
loved that
know?
part so much.
Did you know Peter is Spider-Man?" He's like, "Oh, I thought she knew," but he was like, "Hey, did you know Peter's Spider-Man?"
Like, Peter, I even made. I stopped taking notes after a certain point, and I think that was one of the last things that I got was that was the most realistic teenage thing I have ever seen in any superhero thing was the oh, Peter and I share everything together. I know everything about Peter. Oh, so you even know, that he's Spider-Man? And then when he shows up, oh, Harry's trying to tell me that you're I gotta go. I thought she knew.
Did you? Did you, Harry?
I think the fact that she didn't immediately tell you, like, or give you some type of signal of, like, yeah, thwip, thwip. Like, I know he does, the stuff. Like, she gave no inkling that she had any idea what he was talking about.
No, Harry's just
Oh,
he's a silly, goofy guy.
I
Um,
liked him a lot more as the show went on as well. I didn't think that
yeah,
I
no,
would
he
like
wasn't
this
just
interpretation.
he wasn't
You
just
go
the
ahead,
token
sorry.
the token not token. He wasn't just the token best friend, he served a wider purpose. And um, you
Speaking
know,
of negatives that are female, unfortunately the other and I know we said it when we talked about the first two episodes that I had said that I at least assumed that Nico and Pearl would get some more shine and that I would probably turn around on my thoughts on both of them at least a little bit by the end of the season. For
yeah,
Nico, I came more around to her as the show went on. I at least liked her a little bit more. I appreciated that at least in the last episode she tried to be a better friend about the Spider-Man stuff. Pearl, however, my god, they just did not give her anything to do. She was just there to be the love
yeah, she
interest
didn't
for
even
both Lonnie
yeah,
and for Peter.
and a little bit for Nico. They had like a
A
little
little bit for
scene where
Nico.
they were like getting all touchy feely with each other. I was like, oh, and but
I also wasn't sure if they were going to subvert that and have her like break up with Lonnie and then get with Nico. It seemed to
I
be
you just reminded
somewhat
me.
leaning towards that, but they
I
also
have
seem to be leaning towards Nico and Harry a little bit. But
Yeah, no, they definitely. I think they're leaning heavy into Nico and Harry. I think that's definitely a thing. Um, what was I gonna say? The I have one more negative, but it's my last one.
yes,
It's not that big of a deal. Um, I feel like Lonnie, he got a little too like ride or die for this gang too
mm,
quickly. You know what I mean? Like he was like, "Oh, I'm doing this to save my brother," but then he's like, "Oh shit, man, I'm Tombstone, yeah." Like, within the span of a few episodes, I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess he's down with that."
Spider-Man saved his life a little bit more than the gang did, at least
Yeah,
to a more extreme extent, and it feels like he could have had. I don't know. It did feel like they could have done a little bit more with like the gang trying to actually help him out
yeah. No, he was just
and
like
lead into that devotion.
he just jumped into like I'm with it like a little too quickly.
110
Yeah, exactly.
threw
Especially
his
for Big
jersey in the
Donovan.
garbage and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that also was pretty much all of my negatives. I honestly was more just disappointed that there were only 10 episodes by the end of it. It felt like it ended really quickly. I'm honestly uh given the not reception, but given how people were reacting before the show even came out, I understand why they wanted to go ahead and just release 2 to 3 episodes at a time each week, get it out there within a month, but I honestly kind of wish they had just released an episode a week so that we could have, I don't know, enjoyed it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But um now that it's all out there, I honestly, yeah, no, there wasn't really a whole lot that I disliked. That's why I found myself not even really taking notes up to a certain point. It was mostly just me being like, wow, whoa.
Whoa! Holy moly! Oh, oh, oh! Carson, did you
Yes.
notice? Did you notice? Let's just get into the positives, guys. We're getting into it now. He started
Yes.
quipping and thwipping. It finally happened
Thank
near the end,
God.
and I was like, "Well, he was." The whole show so far is him like coming into his own. You know,
Right.
like he's having trouble with a low level scorpion, bro. I don't think so. Not my hashtag. Not my Spider-Man. But he kind of has to. He's obviously like building up because the first time he fights Scorpion, I mean that horror scene,
Oh my God.
he gets
Absolute
Molly.
mollywopped.
Yeah, I was gonna say Molly to the wop, bro. But the second time, he probably could have done it even without Lonnie Tombstone, whatever his last name is, and
Lincoln.
yeah, Lonnie Lonson. That's right. All right,
Yeah, you got it.
but he probably could have done it without him. He was definitely well, especially after he went pissed off mode, which is
Oh my
another thing
God.
that Spider-Man does a lot. Like in the comics, he picks up Kingpin by his skin. Like it's so when he gets angry, like not holding back, it's brutal.
I
Like every single time.
I cannot believe that it was not even No Way Home did it pretty well, but they only did it for like a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
This show did it somehow way better.
it-
Because the movie built up to like the moment we're talking about the like silent Spider-Man
yeah.
that he's just brutalizing somebody. This show did silent Spider-Man so freaking good. I was genuinely worried. I was like, "Oh, is this going to be the thing? Is Spider-Man about to murder Scorpion?" I'm
No,
scared. Like when he's just like when he was slowly walking up to him and just
yeah,
casually avoiding every move that he went for,
yeah.
genuinely, I
That's
just sat there like, "Oh no. Oh
yeah.
no. Peter, don't do that.
Nothing,
Peter, please don't do it."
Peter. Hey, Peter. Locked in Spider-Man is the most dangerous Spider-Man. And he was so locked in that Lonnie had to stop him from murdering Scorpion. Lonnie, the gangster, um, the impervious gangster, had to stop him.
the the new leader of the 110 gang.
Dude, Big Donovan turned into a big bitch at the
I
end there.
love
Like that was kind of I don't know if that was earned. They didn't really show him being a pussy, but he was just like, "Oh, screw this shit, man. I'm out of here."
I honestly really loved it. He talked such a big game the entire time. And then all the way up until shit got very real very fast. And it's like, Big
He
Dom, what do we
watched
do? I'm getting the hell out of here.
he watched the same scene we did, but he was there. He was like, "Nah, I'm
He's like,
good. I'm good,
I'm not
fam."
built for this. They even it felt almost like this is a very, I guess, specific type of reference to make that only the nerds will fully get, but that's fine. So there's the Batman comic book, The Long Halloween.
Yeah,
It's my favorite Batman story. The whole thing in
wrong.
that
But go ahead.
is that uh it's sort of the transition from Batman fighting like gangsters to comic book supervillains and stuff like
Yeah,
that. This sort of felt like that moment to where there was like Big Donovan representing, just street level thugs
yeah,
and making that transition from just sort of normal people just doing gang stuff to they're all enhanced super beings now.
yeah.
uh
They're definitely. I mean, obviously, they're setting up the Sinister Six. We got that Russian prisoner
oh, for
who's going to be
sure.
Rhino. We got the
I'm glad we all
Doctor
just agree
Octavius.
that that's definitely Rhino.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when he was talking to Unicorn, what did he say? He said something like, "Oh, you look like a rhino," or something to that effect. But
I even was waiting for him to take the helmet and to
yeah,
like use it as a rhino horn.
right. And I really the whole scene where Doc Ock is fighting off the SWAT team, that was brilliant. I really liked it. This
Incredible.
this is my Doc Ock. This is my Doc Ock. I love him.
I
I love him so much.
I love that he was almost like in a different show. He was just living his own little comedy
He's living
sitcom
his
show.
truth. He is living his truth, and that is he doesn't give a fuck.
Oh my god, he was pretty much perfect. I also appreciated that they did the like it seems like we're going to get a more classic like he gets his tentacle arms in season 2, I would assume. It
Yeah,
seems to be the
yeah,
thing we're leading
and
up to.
and
But I
apparently,
loved that
so,
they kind of switched that where his like fortress, his little base was almost just like that was his tentacle arms.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I
yeah,
appreciated that. That was a pretty cool twist to just have them be everywhere.
right.
But yeah,
And something I got to say about Doc Squid, I should say, is that
talk about the squid.
he uh he got too many arms in his little pictures there.
He
He's
did have a lot of arms.
he's Doctor Squid because there was 6 arms there, and he's got 4. So now he's Doctor Squid, I guess. Um.
Unless his arms get cut off in the next season, which
Oh.
according to this season, anything is possible when it comes to violence. So,
That is true.
I mean, Lonnie got crushed by some freaking construction equipment, so
Yeah, but
really anything is possible.
he was Lonnie Tombstone Lonson when that happened. So yeah,
Amulax batteries.
they're
Harbulary
hard.
batteries.
No, they're not.
That is nothing like what I just said. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
If y'all are ever wondering if the show doesn't do enough to show you what it is like when Theron and I talk to each other, just watch almost any scene between Drax and Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. That's pretty much it.
Our friend Alex too, that big ginger bastard with his
Ugh,
stupid, ugly face. Anyway,
wherever he may be,
oh, I wish he was still with us. Anyway,
he's out there somewhere on the ether. But anyway,
it's like I can still feel his presence.
sometimes I still hear his voice. Quit telling everyone I'm dead. Oh,
Alex, why don't you introduce yourself? Because I'm sure you're going to be in a future episode.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm just here as a listener today. Don't mind me. I'm in the background. And I'm not bald.
all right, that's enough out of you.
Neither am
So
I.
another thing that I thought was really funny while we're talking about Doc Ock. I loved that for that first little bit in the prison scene, he was still fully wearing his entire outfit.
I said something about that. I was like, why isn't he wearing prison garbs?
They changed him later, and so I was like, "Oh, okay, good." They made a note of it, but I thought it was so fun. I was like, "Oh, we're doing that."
What if he just had? What if he just had some sort of like lockpick or something sewn into his outfit or something? You know?
No kidding. Like, I know Iron Man took him in, but really,
Oh my
we
gosh!
didn't immediately put him in prison gear. Yeah.
I loved the original Iron Man design.
Oh
They
my
did.
god.
They really went like retro with the designs. Like they pulled them straight out of the comic books, and I really
I
liked them.
and that was just another moment. This entire season, every episode, I just kept saying, "Why was this not what the movies were?"
That's Carson, because I don't know why they give the animators a little more freedom.
Oh my
Um,
god.
but I'm glad they do, because the animated stuff coming out of Marvel right now is the best stuff.
We are eating it up. Don't
Dude,
not counting What If. Don't
animation
watch What
fans are
If.
eating good.
We're not discluding Marvel's What If. We don't talk about that show.
Well, I haven't even
But
seen the second season, so you know what?
don't definitely anyway, that's a that's a separate thing. But yeah, no, I am very glad that they're almost it's almost like they themselves don't expect the animated stuff to succeed as well as it does. And then so far between this and X-Men 97 especially, we're eating it up with the quality content that they're producing. Um
Yeah, agreed.
I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, I also just thought it was funny that he was reading through the Sokovia Accords and basically just looking for some type of loophole to get out of prison.
Yeah.
And he's like, pretty much everybody in New York has definitely broken these accords, but whatever.
Yeah.
I
And
also just made another note from that scene where Doc Ock is in prison. It's just a simple note. Norman is such a dick.
and you know what? Screw you, buddy. He took Uncle Ben's line and he made it a villain's line.
I got chills from that.
It was like I was like, oh, is Norman gonna be the one to deliver the line? And then he was like, instead of responsibility, he says respect. And I was like, oh shit.
And the music
That's
cue
such a
with
villain
it,
thing to say.
it was so perfect. Because oh my god, they just did so perfect with all of it. Because that was also part of why I was like, oh my god, is Norman gonna be like his evil Uncle Ben? That
That's what it's looking like.
Peter just learns the wrong lesson, and so he fully kills Scorpion to gain some respect. Oh no, they didn't do that, and they did
No,
it
no.
very well. I was very happy that they didn't do that, but there was part of me I was like, oh no, I got a bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, I
And
just loved Norman entirely
Norman,
through this whole
he was
thing. They
great.
played him when it came to the finale. The last two episodes, I'll say, but the finale especially, they played his villainy very like it shredded a line pretty perfectly to where he wasn't just an outright just evil person. You could
Yeah.
tell even towards the end he seemed to be genuinely trying to do just what he thought was the right thing. But there's still some pretty sinister stuff that he's got brewing that it's like you're not entirely a good guy. Like
You know what? And when he said, I don't remember if it was him or Peter that said it, but they said something like, "We could use. I wish we had 100 Spider-Men." I turned to Alex and I
mhm.
was like, "They're definitely gonna make They're gonna make more Spider-Man, aren't they?" And then, sure enough, they started pulling out all the spiders. And I was like, oh, I was right.
The
That's brilliant
second that he
foreshadowing.
took a sample of Peter's blood, I was like, do not let that man take that. Do not let that man take that.
That's another. I was like, why are you sticking him in his arm? He literally has an open wound on his chest. Just take it from there, bro. Why are you creating more holes in this man? This child.
He's healing. He'll be fine. We need a fresh one.
Yeah. And we got to get into, first of all, we'll get into the time travel stuff at the end, I guess, but.
Oh, absolutely.
Daredevil.
Oh,
I'm so glad he made an appearance. And I was like, I understand where Peter's coming from. He definitely looks like a bad guy, but he's the good guy, okay? I promise.
It's also not even his classic like red suit with the double D's on it or anything. Like it's just the all black suit with red eyes and devil horns.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, but wasn't that the actor, like the actual actor who voiced him?
It was Charlie Cox. It is fully him from the Daredevil show. And he seemed to be playing like a more, he was only in it for like a couple of minutes total, but he seemed to be playing more of a comic accurate, like straight laced version, not necessarily how he plays him in the show. I love the fight that they have, but I also just love the Spidey being like, "This is pretty cool, right?" And he's like, "I don't really keep track." But it's pretty cool.
This is the best supervillain fight I've had yet. I'm not a supervillain.
Really? You're going to talk to me about right and wrong when you look like that?
I like it.
It felt like the joke in Across the Spider-Verse when Miguel O'Hara is like first there and he's trying to stop the vulture. And the helicopter shows up and he's like, "No, you gotta trust me. I'm the good guy." And they're just like, "You don't look like the good guy."
That's true. It's all about. It's like the Batman conundrum. You want people to think you're the good guy, but you want to scare the bad guys at the same time, you know?
Well, and even Peter wearing the dusk suit and he shows up with freaking
why
claws.
Did he have to scratch the tree like that?
Between that and the "here's your balloon," like to a poor child that's now like scarred for life, and he's like, "Wait, no,
I'm a good guy, I swear."
Oh, I thought that whole montage was really fun too. I was like, "Oh my god, that's that suit! That's that suit! Wow!" And just
Can I take a moment to say something before we continue?
Absolutely.
So, I know me and Carson talk over each other a lot, and I would like to explain that we are not recording this in the same room. So, when he's talking, it's a delay for me. So then I start talking because I think he's not talking, and then he starts talking, and then my talking goes over him. So we're not just like interjecting on each other all the time. It's just, something you have to deal with when you're recording from different spaces.
It's true.
Yeah. So I just wanted to clear that up. I wanted to make sure everyone knew I wasn't just being an asshole all the time. And like
not when it comes to talking over me. Yeah, like just now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an asshole in other regards, but not when he talks over me.
Full head of hair asshole.
What did you think of the time travel
I thought
twist?
It was brilliant. Like, I mean, that's got to be one of the best uses of time travel I've seen, honestly. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all. It was like, it has to be one of the best uses of time travel I've seen, I gotta say.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciated that they even kept it very simple in that Peter started to question it and Doctor Strange was basically just like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. Time travel's weird."
I don't fucking know.
Like they kept it they didn't complicate it with, how it affects the multiversal rules or time travel rules, whatever. They just kept it at like, yeah, time travel's freaking weird, man. And it it honestly felt more earned than it really should have been.
Yeah.
Like by the time we got there, I was like, oh, okay. Like
And I
this
was
is
like,
how we're setting up the idea that Peter has to be Spider-Man in multiple regards, but it also is like it's still sort of dealing with the idea that like no, you are meant to be Spider-Man.
exactly. And like and Norman created him in a way. Well, he
Yeah,
created him. It's very paradoxical. He literally created himself because it was his own blood that it's paradoxical, but still. He basically created himself. Norman created him. They both created him in a way. Um, but it's like, yeah, you're right. It's a loop. He was definitely meant to be Spider-Man.
because it comes from Peter's blood that Norman took
Yeah,
and then put into the spider, and then that spider went back in time and bit him. But that's how we started the whole thing. Like
yeah. It's
it,
very
it
paradoxical, but it, like I said,
yeah,
it's done very well. Like it's done really well.
extremely well. I thought the overall team up with him and Strange was really fun too.
Yeah, and like I was like, so when Strange first came in, and he was confused by what Peter was talking about, I was like, oh, it's just from a different multiverse.
It's
But
exactly what I
then,
thought.
he got dropped back in time, and everything that happened in the first episode, everything that happened in the first episode started happening. I was like, oh my gosh, it is the same Strange, but it's just, uh, it's a lot to follow.
That was also sort of the reaction I had when you fully see the Watcher watching the moment
Oh my
towards
god,
the
I
end.
love that. Me
It
and Alex
just
were watching the finale together, and we flipped our shit. It's like, oh my,
chills,
it's not
dude.
the Watcher.
Literal chills. Just like, I see you back there, Watu. I see
Yeah,
you.
I see you.
I thought the final swing was really fun. I'm so glad they brought that back.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's just it's just an all time great for Marvel. Um,
I the the last couple of things that I had are more so theories based on what we've already talked about, plus something that happened with Harry, because it looks like he's starting his own company, which he's done in the comic books before, but it's sort of, I don't necessarily know if that's the direction they're going because he's also married when he does that in the comic books, which he is very, very much not currently, as far as we know. But
he's married to being rich.
I'm wondering if they're going to do Parker Industries or at least a version of that at some point soon. Since,
And maybe I don't think his dad is going to be able to start it. TBH.
well, but like, I don't know if he's going to like somehow. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to somehow take over, and that's going to also lead to the the eventual separation that might end up happening between him and Harry. Because I love that a lot of this season also, we sort of brought it up in the first two episodes, was, and they just expanded upon it in every episode, was just the level of subtlety with they do with certain things. Like the distance between Harry and Norman was not just so over the top or in your face. It was just little moments that I'm just like, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Bad dad alert.
Bad dad alert.
Trust me when I
Just
tell you, I know a thing or two about bad dads.
just little moments of, yeah, no, we're not getting into all that. We don't have time to unpack all of that.
Papa, where have you gone, Papa?
Dad, Daddy,
Daddy? Do I look like? Okay, let's continue.
Papa. Daddy wasn't there. Sorry. Yeah, no, I thought it was very well done moments of just Norman making it clear without being so over the top about it that he way prefers Peter to Harry.
You're like the son I never had. Dad, I'm right here.
Dad, I'm right here. The son I never had. Yeah, no. I'm wondering what they're gonna end up doing with that, because I'm torn, because it seems like the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? It seems like the common thing to be doing now is to have not Eddie Brock be Venom.
Yeah. I think, you know what? I think it's gonna be the little asshole man, the ferret guy, the one with the orange hair, and he's an asshole. I don't remember his name.
The professor guy?
Yes, I think he's gonna be the Venom.
Oh, interesting. I'm assuming that either Norman or Harry is going to do it. I know that they had Harry, spoiler alert for Spider-Man 2, the video game, the Insomniac one that just came out. I know that Harry is Venom in that. I'm wondering if they're going to do that again, because it seemed like the symbiote. I can't remember. I don't think we see Norman like contain it or anything, but it seems like they're setting up Norman to have something to do with that, because typically the only reason that I don't Dr. Whitman is his name.
Yes.
Just remembered that. The orange-haired man, that the only nice thing he had to say was when Spider-Man saved him. I thought that was funny too. But the only reason that I don't think it's going to be him is because he's typically I can't remember if I think I said it when we talked about the first two episodes. He's typically like a tech villain, the wizard.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're gonna go that route or not. He might be that. He might have it for
and
some amount of time, because they've also done like multiple Venoms before. Like even Scorpion's been Venom before in the comic books.
I would be, as things stand right now, I'd be shocked if Miss Connors actually became the Lizard too. I think there's a lot of people that are just there for like nods to people that know, you know.
It does feel like it would be a lot to have all of these people that are typically somebody super hero or villain in the comic books. It feels like it would be a lot to have all of them end up being what they become in the comic books.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna. I think it's just like yeah, we know, we know, we know, you know what I mean?
Because I also don't know. I thought it was a fun twist to have Richard Parker show up at the finale as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of bad dads.
yeah. Apparently the bad dad to have, because he just seems like a slimy asshole when he shows
Speaking
up
of
too.
slimy assholes, I had talk. Okay, never mind. Let's continue.
Any hoozle. Yeah, no, I'm also
Did I make you lose
just a
your
little
train of thought?
Yes, I fully saw it just drive away too. Just another note that I had was that when they show the moment that we talked about of Doc Ock in jail and he has the drawings of the arms, my first immediate thought was I really want them to make the joke when he does make his arms, especially if he makes them in the jail, is Doc Ock was able to build this in a cell with a box of scraps. Like, I don't
Doc
know.
Ock built this in a cell with a box of scraps.
Like, I don't know if they'll do the Iron Man 1 meme or not, but I really hope that they do. I thought that would be funny. But yeah, no, there's only, I've said it before and I'll say it probably a million times more. There's only so much you can really say when it's this good, but
Yeah.
I think those were all the main big things that I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, there was a lot of I think we talked about all the big moments. There was a lot of transitional moments. Like, I mean, there's not much to say about Pearl or anything.
I
Nico had
loved
a
when
moment where her necklace like protected her from something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
yeah, there was a couple of things about that. One was that I like that we're slowly showing Nico's magic and everything. I'm at least intrigued to see what they do with her seemingly summoning her mother's spirit in her
Yeah.
necklace.
It's like a protection spell. Simple
Yeah.
but quite unbreakable.
I understood that reference.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone who watched this show did. So
I like that. So another note that I did have, it goes with a positive, like a big thing that I really liked immediately afterwards. But I thought it was kind of funny that Nico I can't remember. I think it's episode 9, so the second to last episode. Before the fight with Scorpion. Yeah, that's the second to last episode. Whenever that truck is about to hit her, I love that she did not even try to get out of the way. She just immediately gave up and sat down.
There comes a time in every woman's life when they have to decide to be just the most useless person in the entire world, and that was her moment.
The only reason I will let it go is because I loved how they introduced Spidey after that with the classic costume. The like quick shot of him in the reflection in the necklace and then the reveal of the suit and everything. I thought that was so perfect. So if it means that Nico kind of gave up for a moment, I'm okay with that.
Kind of gave up. She just resigned herself to death.
I also liked the Hannibal mouth guard on Scorpion's mask. I thought that was fun.
Yes, I think he looked pretty much exactly like he did in the comics. The early, everyone
Pretty
looked
much,
exactly
yeah.
like they did early comics.
There was even a moment that his tail like lifted him up by itself. I thought that was fun. It was almost like just a singular Doc Ock arm.
Yeah, he was still
Which makes
unconscious and
sense.
it picked him up. I noticed that too.
Makes sense since Dr. Octavius was the one that made it. I loved I just loved all the different like subtle or even maybe not so subtle, but I just loved all the nods to stuff from the movies with like a slight twist to it. Like Tombstone doing the No Way Home moment where instead of Toby stopping him with the glider from killing Norman, it was Tombstone stopping him from killing Scorpion with the tail.
Yeah.
That was a big one that I really liked. It also, to me, makes it seem like we're going to get Vulture and Shocker in the next season because we
have
didn't
to complete the Sinister Six.
like we didn't even see them this season, and this is around homecoming time, so they should be running amok right now.
Yeah.
Amok.
I thought Alex thought that the little ferret guy was Vulture just because he kind of looked like him in the comics, you know? And I was
Yeah.
like, no, you idiot. Obadiah Stane, I think his name was. Anyway.
Yes, Adrian Toombs, Obadiah Stane. Definitely I think you got it. There's definitely some letters in both of those.
You know what? You win
You know
some.
what?
I'm on like 3 hours of sleep right now. Okay, don't judge me.
You're doing so good. It's incredible. Like, yeah. Uh, was
I
there
think,
anything else that really stood out to you that you really liked, or that you're predicting for the next season, or even the third season for that matter?
well, I liked uh the part. I thought it was Vulture that was coming to save. I thought I legit because it kind of sounded like a bird when it was up in the air, and I was like, "Oh my god, is that?" I was like, "Is that Vulture?" And I was like, "Why is Vulture coming to save Spider-Man?" And then it was a Goblin Glider. I'm sure it's not called that yet, but I'm sure it will be eventually.
I honestly think that would be very funny if he just already was calling it the Goblin Glider.
And was
It
I
just
mean,
feels
obviously
like it
they're setting
has
up.
the vibe, the aura, the essence of a goblin.
Obviously, they're setting up the Sinister Six. I've already
Yeah.
brought that up multiple times. I'm excited. You can never go wrong with the Sinister Six.
I don't know how
Um,
much involvement Sony has had with this cartoon, but with the hard on they have had for trying to create the Sinister Six, I highly doubt it'll be that long before we get a Sinister Six in this show.
yeah, and I mean we already got. Let me see. We got Doc Ock, Scorpion. We know that guy's gonna be Rhino.
Chameleon.
Oh yeah, Chameleon too.
We got Tarantula and Speed Demon.
Oh, don't even get me started on Tarantula.
She was quite nice.
Muscle mommy right there.
Not nice to Speed Demon, but
Hey
my mom
man,
was right about you.
if my woman ain't treating me like that, they ain't worth it. Okay. So I think we should get into the rating because I'm sure we both have pretty high scores. So my grandma's dead. So why don't you go first?
You can't use that excuse every time, okay?
Every time it just happened.
um, yeah, so to try to wrap up thoughts, my final paragraph, as we'll call it. I really, really loved this show, if that wasn't clear, after going into it not expecting to even tolerate it for that matter. I was blown away from pretty much start to finish. I think that just about anybody can enjoy it, especially Spider-Man fans. I think that this is essentially the show that we've had to those that maybe haven't just absolutely loved every bit of the Tom Holland movies. I think this is the show that we've been waiting a hot minute for, and especially as far as the animation shows go in particular, it is, in my opinion, not been since Spectacular Spider-Man that there's been a animated Spidey show this good. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think my score would be a solid 97.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's the year I was born. 97 AD. All right. My turn.
Please go on.
like my compatriot said, it's a phenomenal show. I expected nothing absolutely nothing from it. Mainly, I mean, I was just kind of thrown off by how awful the animation was, but it did get either better or it just tricked me, you know. I mean, pretty easy to trick, so probably that. Um, I like everything they're setting up. I like that we didn't have to sit through another origin story. Everyone knows how Spidey happens. We don't need all that nonsense. It's just entertaining. The tense scenes were tense, not camping, and they just
Hiking.
everything they set out to do, they dud. They did it well. Um, and I love the Sinister Six, and I know they're setting it up, so that's a big plus for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it 90. What is 2 in French, Alex? 90.
Toi.
No, trois is 3, you idiot. How many times do we have to go over this?
At least once more.
Okay, trois is 3. Okay,
Oh, okay.
so 90. That's 92 for you American viewers.
Americans always butchering the French.
I'll never forgive the French.
Do you think this A on my head stands for France?
You wouldn't be able to see that on my head because it's so full of hair, and I'm not bald at all.
Hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.